good afternoon, evening, morning, whenever you're watching this, because I'm very aware that many people watch this on my YouTube channel when it goes up there on Thursdays. So welcome to another in my series, almost 5 years, in this inner goddess team, honoring, embracing our inner goddess team, which is all about really acknowledging and taking back, if that's that is the right phrase, these divinely feminine qualities that exist in all of us, men and women alike, and everything, completely gender-free, like compassion, like collaboration, like honoring our intuition, honoring our emotions, all of that. What I mean by the divine feminine, and why I'm so passionate about doing this series, you can find on my YouTube channel. There's a little eye in any of these inner goddess team videos, I think like in the first frame or something, where you can click on and actually watch a short little video about the divine feminine. So we are back in this lusty month of May. If you're, it's one of my favorite musicals. If you're not familiar with Camelot, there's a wonderful song that Julie Andrews sings in the original version called The Lusty Month of May. It's May, the lusty month of May. And I didn't intentionally do this, although I've certainly brought in other lusty goddesses in the past. But last month was a new one for me. Isolt was a Welsh goddess of flowers and love. And when I was researching her, I've actually heard of Isold or Isolde, there's actually Isold, either with a T or a D. There are actually many different spellings of her name, depending on what country you're in. She was pretty, her myth is pretty expansive. In Ireland, in England, she's connected with the King Arthur and Gwenivere story, and very, very much mirrors it in many ways, but also in Germany and in the Scandinavian countries. So it's very much like all of these goddesses and all of their myths, no matter what part of the world, are really powerful archetypes for us today to call on, to remember their messages that come from the symbolism of these myths. So the story of Isolde, she is Isolde. She is the goddess of love, fertility, and sexuality. I have to say, and all the really interesting readings that I did about her, it wasn't. What I got from it, and what I'm sharing with you, is that she's just the biggest reminder of eternal love and undying love, and the nature of love as the foundation of life, which has come up for me a couple times in my spiritual practice, that's the foundation of everything. And of course, I would insert joy. That's another story. That to be able to call on her when you have lost a beloved, usually referring to an intimate partner, but it really could be any relationship, and you're grieving, or perhaps, and boy, did this resonate with me today, with if you're in a relationship, a good solid relationship, I've been feeling, and this is one of the other ways that she can uplift us, just for a bunch of reasons that I won't go into, kind of disconnected from my guy, from my husband of 44 years. And we had this amazing talk this morning. Just, it really helped settle me, helped me feel reconnected. And then as I'm diving into, after this talk is when I really dove into the message, the mythology, the archetype of Isolde. And it's like, oh, wow, how perfect is that for today? I often find that when I'm doing goddess work or women's circles, that and I'm sure you've discovered it too, that we most, wherever we're at, there's so often this beautiful synchronicity of wisdom that's revealed to us right when we need it most. So let me tell you a little bit about her mythology. Her color is white. So I'm honoring her by wearing one of my favorite white tops today. She does have many spellings of her name, which I'll just list them all when I when I do the, excuse me, the YouTube description. Too much to put in Facebook and Instagram. She's often viewed as being, because she has all these faces, as kind of a triple goddess. Her mother's name was Isolde, also spelled in a different way. And then later on in the myth, there's another Isolde that comes into it. So and her story, as I've alluded to, and I'll tell you in a minute, is very much of a love triangle. So if you're looking for messages, if you're looking for ways to connect or to draw on her energy, kind of let things come in threes. When you see something 3 times or hear something, or maybe there's something you need to say 3 times to a beloved in order for it to be heard. So let's see. So her story is that she is due to be married to the king, Mark, King of Cornwall, who just sees one strand of her beautiful silver hair and decides that he wants to marry her. This is how they did things back in the Middle Ages. And so he sends one of his squires, his knight, Tristan. So Isolde and Tristan with a T, if you've heard about this myth. I didn't really know a whole lot about it. And to fetch her. And on the way back to Mark, the couple mistakenly drinks this special love potion. This always happens when love potions are made for a particular couple. Something else happens with it. That Isolde's mother had prepared for Isolde to have with Mark to ensure that they would have a passionate, loving, wonderful marriage. Well, Isolde and Tristan end up drinking this potion, become obsessed with each other, realize that they can't, that Isolde has to go through with this marriage to Mark, who's really a wonderful guy, but she is completely smitten and attached to Tristan. So they continue this subterfuge, and there's different versions of the myth, but they're found out, they're not found out, but the end result is ultimately that Tristan is banished, and he actually goes on to marry, and here's where the third Isolde comes in, to marry another woman named Isolde. And at some point, he is dying of some kind of wound, and asks if she, relays through his wife, current wife, probably not a wise thing to do, if this of his beloved Isolde can come to be with him. Of course, the wife is jealous. She tells Tristan that no, she's not coming. Tristan dies, heartbroken, and when Isolde does come, she dies of a broken heart as well. Very kind of Romeo and Juliet too. So the message, as sad as that story is to understand that it lives on, that love lives on. And there's a wonderful, I have shared many of her, Doreen Virtue's oracle cards before. She's one that spells it with a T. There's her beautiful Esyllt card. And she tells the story. She has a message that comes from Isolde in her little booklet that talks about all of the goddesses. And I think one of the ways that we can most do it, and what was so helpful for me personally today, was just remember to keep your heart open, to connect. If, in my case, for instance, if you're connected with someone who's beloved to you, but you're just not on the same wavelength, open your heart. A great thing to do. I've got a rose quartz heart. Rose quartz is considered the crystal of the heart, and I've had this one for years. Allow yourself to open your heart, to listen deeply, to hear their perspective, to go deep, and remember what it is that you love about each other, how your love may complement each other. I say that to my wedding couples, a lot. If they tell me, oh yes, I ask them what they love about each other, and they say, oh, we complement each other, which means that they're very different in certain ways. And on their good days, they'll stretch and grow each other, and on their bad days, they're going to want to strangle each other. So Isold reminds us not to do any strangling, and to just, and likewise, not to dive deep and never come out of grieving when you've lost a loved one. We all need to grieve those kinds of losses. And Isolde just reminds us that we can come back out and still be whole, that opportunity exists for us. So I think that's all I wanted to tell you about them. There was a chant I was going to share. Now I can't remember what it was. But it's the idea. Oh, I know. Remembering that we are in this healing, in relationship, that we are always healing each other, even if our beloved is no longer around. Maybe we've been betrayed. Maybe we've just experienced a breakup. But to understand that there was still a lesson, there was still meaning, and certainly that little kernel of love exists, at some point, even if it was as a result of heartbreak. And so I wanted to share with you, I often share this with healing goddesses, but I love this one, and it's the one that jumped out at me. So just close your eyes and take it in. I am a circle, I am healing you. You are a circle, you are healing me. Unite us, be as one. Unite us, be as one. So, those of you in the US who are celebrating Memorial Day today, I hope you had a beautiful, lovely, long holiday weekend. I had a quiet, wonderful day, and I invite you to really embrace this message of love, that it is eternal, that it is undying, that it exists for all of our relationships exist in that container of love. Thanks for being with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.